Hey everyone, it's Dora from flippinghousesandapancakes.com, and today I thought I'd talk a little bit about the differences between Ashkenazi food and Sephardi food on Pesach. Hey everyone, so I'm out here today because it is absolutely gorgeous and the kids are playing and undoubtedly going to distract me while I'm talking to you. But let's get started. So we'll start with Ashkenazi customs when it comes to food on Pesach. And I grew up Ashkenazi, and so I will start there and we'll work our way to the Sephardi stuff. A few things you need to know is, of course, if you don't know already, we have specific laws pertaining to food on Pesach. We cannot have anything chametz. Chametz is food made out of 5 main grains that has been in contact with water for a certain amount of time and potentially with yeast, and has baked or cooked, or not even that, just sat in the moisture. If it's been wet long enough, it becomes chametz and we can't eat it on Pesach. So no bread, no bagels, no Cheerios, no crackers, none of those things. The only thing we eat on Pesach that is made out of flour and wheat flour and spelt flour and all of those sorts of flours. The only thing that we eat on Pesach made out of those things is the matzah. And the matzah that we eat has been timed very carefully so that it does not cook or bake too long. It is finished baking before the amount of time we consider it to be chametz. So that's 18 minutes. The matzah is baked in well under 18 minutes from the time it touches the water until the time it's finished baking, and we consider that not chametz. It did not have time to become chametz before it was finished baking. So that's the halacha. We don't eat chametz on Pesach. Everything else is pretty much a custom or minhag. And Ashkenazim have very specific minhagim, and a lot of it comes down to, do you or do you not eat gebrocks? Now, gebrocks means you will let your matzah become wet again. A lot of people, the people who do not eat gebrocks, they say, that was a big truck that just went by, sorry. People who do not eat gebrocks will, the reason that they don't eat gebrocks, the reason that they won't let any matzah get wet is because they feel like it could continue the process and become chametz. The people who will eat gebrocks and make matzah balls, matzah brie, matzah pizza, matzah lasagna, their custom that they hold eating those foods is that even if you get it wet, since it was already deemed not chametz, it can't become chametz anymore. So that's the approximately. So I grew up not worrying about gebrocks at all. We ate all of the gebrocks foods. We ate matzah balls, matzah brie, matzah lasagna, matzah pizza. When I was a kid, we would put, it was before they had the fancy cereals. Yes, I'm telling you how old I am. Before all those nice fancy Crispios and things like that. And we would put matzah farfel with a little bit of honey and milk in our bowl, and we would eat that for our breakfast. We would put matzah farfel into our soup along with our matzah balls. You have to have matzah balls. We definitely ate that, and all those delicious foods, just smearing matzah with cream cheese or smearing it with butter or jelly, all of those delicious things that we would eat. That is an Ashkenazi custom to not eat gebrocks or to eat gebrocks. Those tend to be a lot of the customs you find in an Ashkenazi household. There's also other customs that are called not eating kitnios. Now, kitnios are legumes, beans. So think not eating any beans, essentially, and a lot of seeds. A lot of seeds are considered kitnios. So Ashkenazim will not eat a regular mustard seed, so that you won't find real mustard for Pesach that an Ashkenazi person will buy, and you won't find any green beans on anybody's menu if they're Ashkenazi. And I'll tell you a funny story about that in a little bit. Ashkenazim don't eat kitnios. That is, again, beans. That also includes things like rice. So rice is considered kitnios. Ashkenazim will not eat rice on Pesach. They will not eat corn on Pesach. They will not eat beans on Pesach. And that's how I grew up. You would never eat those things. And that's like the next level. Now, a lot of Ashkenazim have all kinds of other customs. There are customs where people will peel all of their fruits and vegetables, even their tomatoes. They'll peel them before they use them. There are customs where people will not eat garlic on Pesach. There's all kinds of different food-related customs in the Ashkenazi community. And everybody's family has a little bit of a different custom. And that's what makes it fun and also makes it a little tricky. It's always harder to have guests or to have or to go out to eat on Pesach at somebody else's house, because they probably have a slightly different custom than you do. So it's very tricky, I guess, kind of having guests over, or I feel it's very tricky. Now, I got married, and I married a Persian. He is Sephardi, obviously. So we've got the Sephardi and Persian customs. Again, the same halachos apply. So the same, and not eating chametz, that's the law. They do the same thing. But there are differences when it comes to what they'll eat on Pesach. Now, I haven't met a Sephardi person that has an issue with eating gebrocks. Everybody that I know will eat gebrocks. My in-laws definitely schmear stuff on matzah. Not only that, but I'll tell you, the first Seder I was at, I was really startled. Not only would they get the matzah wet, but my in-laws will actually intentionally, they wash the matzah and then they put it under a cover. I put it in a plastic bag to do this. And they make the matzah nice and wet and becomes almost like a tortilla, and it's easier to eat. So I was quite startled when that first Seder, when they were eating this like soft, floppy matzah, and I was like, whoa. Now, some Sephardim will even eat a much thicker matzah. We've gotten some of that. We've gotten some of that over the years as well. It's always very entertaining to see the different types of matzah. When you grew up eating one very specific kind, and then now you're eating wet matzah, and now you're eating a different kind of matzah. So they definitely will eat gebrocks. Like I said, I have not encountered anybody Sephardi who does not eat gebrocks. But Sephardim will also very often eat kitnios. Now, in this case, it's literally every single family does it a little differently. Persians, as far as I know, everybody eats rice on Pesach. That was pretty startling. The first year when I could eat rice. And we'll eat green beans. We'll eat other beans, like fresh green beans. We'll eat legumes. You can get peanut butter they bring in from Israel with kitnios hashgacha on it. We can eat special canned corn. My kids love that. Bamba snacks, very exciting. If you have to get specific ones that say that they're kosher for Pesach for people who eat kitnios, but that's all there. So we actually eat way more food than I grew up eating. I do remember that first Seder. First we had the wet matzah, and then we moved on, and my mother-in-law brought out a plate of rice. It was a polo shevet, so it's a green polo. Shevet is dill. It's rice, basmati rice with dill and green beans. She brought out on Seder night, the first year that we were married, a platter with rice, green beans, and then a matzah tadik, like a crispy matzah that she had put on the bottom of the pot. And it was so strange for me. Oh my goodness. It was crazy. Like, is this an okay thing to eat on Pesach? I had never eaten that. It turns out it's really awesome to be able to eat rice on Pesach, but there's one downfall. You have to check the rice 3 times. It doesn't matter if it has a hechsher on it, nothing. You have to check it 3 times, and that's literally going through like every grain of rice. And we set up our tablecloth and we sit down and we go through. It's time consuming, but if you want to eat rice, you got to do it. So we sit down. Now my kids are big, and I'm able to have like my younger kids, they do the first check through the rice and they push it into another pile. And then my bigger kids do the second check and I do the last check, which is great because I used to have to do all three. It takes me a lot less time now because I only have to do the last remaining check to make sure there's nothing but rice in the rice. Make sure there's no barley or anything that looks different. So we do eat the rice. We eat green beans, fresh green beans on Pesach, and a lot of people will eat. A lot of families eat chickpeas. My husband's family does not eat chickpeas because chametz sounds like hummus. So they don't eat chickpeas. But I do know a lot of Persians who will eat chickpeas on Pesach. My husband's family only eats white beans, and I think black-eyed peas, and then of course fresh green beans. Anything fresh. And if it's not fresh, you do have to go through and check it, make sure it's just beans in your beans. You do that, checking the rice and checking the beans before Pesach. So that's part of your Pesach preparation. If you run out, that's it, you're done. You don't have any more for Pesach. So that's one of the things that we'll be doing over the next 2 weeks is starting to check our rice. And I will maybe get a video of that for you at some point. The green beans, here's a funny story. One of my friends, when she was expecting one of her kids, it was her first year making Pesach because she was expecting a kid on Pesach, and her daughter was born on my birthday on Pesach, which is amazing. So yes, my son is born on my birthday on Pesach, and her daughter is also born on my birthday on Pesach. But she was expecting her daughter on Pesach, and we were getting ready. She was clearly 9 months pregnant. And her mother was coming in from out of town, but hadn't come yet. And she was trying to do her shopping. And she had 2 other kids. And she was like, I've never shopped for Pesach before. What am I going to do? And I said, it's okay. I'm going to come with you. We're going to we'll do it like simultaneously. I'll do my Pesach shopping and you'll do your Pesach shopping so that you don't have to do it by yourself. So we're going through the grocery store together. And it's before Pesach, so they hadn't closed everything up. And I'm buying my onions and she's buying her onions, and I'm buying tomatoes and she's buying tomatoes, and I bought green beans and she bought green beans. And we went through the store and we bought all kinds of things, and then didn't think about it at all. And Erev Pesach, there's a knock at my door. And I open the door and it's my friend. I'm like, what are you doing here? It's Erev Pesach. Why are you here? She goes, my mother opened my fridge this morning and pulled out a bag of green beans. She's like, why are there green beans in your fridge for Pesach? And she was like, I don't know, Dora bought them and I bought them. And that's and then that's when we decided we would not shop again together. So she brought me a gift of green beans on Erev Pesach because, of course, she's Ashkenazi and she can't eat the kitnios, but we could. So she brought me her green beans. It actually happened 2 times. 2 times where she accidentally bought green beans. And we were the beneficiaries of them. We got green beans, Erev Pesach, from my friend. But anyhow, so Sephardim will eat green beans on Pesach. We'll eat rice on Pesach. Like I said, we do check the rice. We do check the beans. Green beans, obviously, you just wash. But so we eat even more stuff. So if we could find mustard, I know in Israel you can get it. And we got it once before. You can find real mustard, you can get it. If you can find peanut butter, you can eat it if you're Sephardi. So that's kind of part of the fun, is being able to eat specific foods. So the challenge comes when my family comes for Pesach. My brother came for many years just to visit us on Pesach. And then my parents moved to town, and so my parents are here. My sister comes to town. My brother comes to town with all his kids, and it's always very entertaining. I do. The first time he came for Pesach, he asked the Shaila and was told that as long as I'm not cooking his food on the same days I'm cooking my food, like the kitnios and the non-kitnios, then it's not a big deal. But so everybody has to ask their own Shaila about that one. Some people want you to have a specific pot that you cook their food in. If you're hosting somebody who doesn't eat kitnios and you do. But in any way, we asked the Shaila, we got our answer. We asked the question from the rabbi, and that's what he said. So my brother has come for years, and they would always enjoy coming. it was always entertaining because my sister-in-law's family did not eat gebrocks, and then they would come to us, and for them, they were eating so much more than they ate for the first part of Pesach because they could come and eat gebrocks in my house. So they could come and eat their matzah balls and their matzah lasagnas and everything. And they were like, oh yes, this cake was actually made with matzah meal instead of with, potato starch. So for them, they were eating more, but whenever they came, we were eating less because we wouldn't eat the kitnios when they came. So it was always very entertaining. Those are, now lots of Sephardim do different things. Not all Sephardim eat rice, not all Sephardim eat specific beans. Some Sephardim eat more beans than we eat. Everybody has a little difference. And like I said, that's part of what makes Pesach so interesting, especially when it comes to food customs, because there are just so many different customs, so many minhagim that different people have. And that's what makes it entertaining. Oh, you eat this or you don't eat that. Some people will make their own potato starch. Some people will use matzah meal for everything. It's very fun. So those are some of the big differences between Ashkenazi food customs and Sephardi food customs on Pesach. And I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any interesting Pesach food customs in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you find out every time I upload a new video. And I have some good Pesach recipes on my website, flippinghousesandpancakes.com.